Welcome to the Adventures of Brent and Lydia. I'm Brent.
And this is Lydia.
We're basically just gonna take you guys on a little bit of just errand run, basically. So the first and foremost, I want to kind of try to clear this up a little bit, because it seems like there's some confusion when it comes to like why we're doing some of these like ghost hunter tools. We're doing it to basically show how they aren't realistic as to determining that there's actually any ghosts or spirits in any given location. And so Lydia was hearing me analyze, and we're actually going to try to do a few things coming up. Lydia wants to start doing some reaction videos, so like I'll watch a channel and kind of break down exactly like what they're doing at one of the ghost show channels. And it's I'm not going to intentionally disrespect anybody or step on their toes. I'm just going to make some points here and there that is going to leave you as viewers basically aware to be able to make your own judgments in the future about how real or not real this stuff is. So there's a couple of people that kind of were like, oh, well, you should come to this location and this location. No, that's not what we're doing, okay? But with that being said, we're trying to do something fun because Lydia's normally not off on Mondays. So we came up with an idea, and we're going to try to take you guys along for it. So I gave her two options. First option was we do something that we used to kind of do when we were several years ago. We basically would get out a compass and say north, south, east, west, and basically keep driving in that vicinity until we see something interesting. Now granted, okay, that's not a perfect thing. Like we know that, but that was one option. So that was the first one. And the other one is, I said, okay, well, what if we were to go to an abandoned location? And she's like, okay, well, how far away? And I said, well, that depends on how far you're willing to go, but the farthest distance that I'm talking about is within an hour and a half or so, which is in the Nashville area. And you want to tell them what you chose?
We chose to go to the Nashville area. I chose option 2.
So I already told her where it was, okay? We had actually done a little bit of research whether or not we were actually allowed to go in the building. That's probably a negative, because if you guys don't know about Tennessee is in Tornado Alley. The past several years we have gotten hit very hard with tornadoes, especially the Nashville area. So keep that in mind when we talk about going to these locations, because I don't feel safe putting my life in danger, as you can imagine, and I also don't want to put myself in danger. So as far as that's concerned, we're not going to tell you guys until Monday as to where we're going, because, well, that just won't be fair. So we're going to take a little bit of a more of an adventure on Monday, mainly to take photos and kind of like talk about this particular location, give you some backstory, even if we're not allowed to go in, okay? That shouldn't be that big of a deal. Like, we just want to start going to some of these different locations, and, well, adventure is really literally in the name of our channel. So yeah, but not every adventure has to be a grand ordeal. So if you like that, if you want us to keep making videos, please like, share, and subscribe. Push that little bell for any future notifications. And tell us what you think. If you guys want to see us go to some of these more abandoned locations, both locally, but believe it or not, Clarksville doesn't have as many locations as you would think, even though that the town is very, very old. When I say that, Tennessee has a really crazy history. Yeah. It really does. Just listen to our podcast on Occultic Tennessee, and I'll be the first one to tell you that. Yeah. There's a lot of, as you can imagine in the South, there's a lot of stories that you'll hear. There's a lot of myths, and that's not any different in a smaller town like this. But one of the locations that we are going to go back to, where this all kind of started, is going to be the Bell Witch Cave. So it's basically going to be Cleveland and I that are taking that on. His wife has convictions, and Lydia, we don't know if it'd be a great idea for her to go back in, given her condition. And who knows, I might not, yeah, if I could even speak, I might not even be able to go in realistically with how I've been feeling. I shouldn't have a problem, but if any of you guys have ever been in that cave, you'll know firsthand, it is not an easy one to navigate. It's very tight. And I know we said this, but like there was literally 30 people on the tour that when Lydia and I went.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And you barely could move. Like you were basically blocked in there. You know, if people wanted to do farther exploring in the cave, you do have to sign a waiver going in. Okay, and part of that waiver is recording anything. So you're, unfortunately, we won't be able to actually film anything, but we can take pictures. And through the pictures, I basically can kind of explain as to what's going on, like with the pictures, and Cleveland kind of wants to understand this perspective that I have, or this theory that I have related to caves a little bit more. So we're trying to work that out in September sometime. Guys, I don't say this very often, but if there's one thing that you could do for us right now, it'd be pray for Cleveland. He's
about the job.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna say that. He's just going through some rough times right now. Can't really get into it because that's kind of personal. But pray for the roads. That's all I can say. He's a very, very near and dear friend, and well, he's kind of part of the channel, whether he wants to be or not. So yeah, just pray for him and his family. They're going through some rough stuff right now. But with that said, so how have I been doing since this past? So obviously we just put a video up because it's a Saturday. We started videos on Saturday. We finished on Friday. It's been a rough couple of weeks on me, I'm not gonna lie. It seems as though, and this might just be my perspective, I don't know if it's just in my head or not, but it feels as though my symptoms are getting progressively worse. It's very real possibility that they are. Unfortunately, there's not really much I can do about it. This is just kind of the cycle that you go through. So when we started doing research on dystonia specifically, there's some people that can like go like years and years and not really have a bad symptom, and then all of a sudden it can happen again out of nowhere and be worse than before. Yeah. There's a lot of moving parts to dystonia, which is why I haven't got the full diagnosis yet. She wants to do in-person tests, my doctor anyway, which I totally understand. That won't unfortunately be until October, so still got about a month to wait on that, but more than likely, with my voice now kind of changing, surprisingly nobody really has been saying anything about that we know of, that's been watching and listening to our podcast. I will say this last one that Lydia and I put out on fairies, you definitely can hear it in my voice on that one. It's not getting easier, I promise you guys, it's not. This disability is kind of frustrating, especially for a person like me. I'm already introverted. You guys wouldn't know that because again, like I feel like I have to put a brave face on when I record anything, literally anything. But I'm very introverted. I kind of have a I think Lydia once called it a people phobia, which means I can be around people, but I get very tired of being around people very quickly. I'm kind of a hermit and recluse. I've always kind of been that way. My mom was kind of like that as well. And I don't know what this guy's issue is, but he's like flying down this and he doesn't need to be. Anyways, sorry guys. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at as far as my health situation. It's not It's not getting better. I feel like it is progressively getting worse. My jaw is constantly hurting for the most part now. Because, like, if you guys see, my face, like, comes down to the right. The droopiness on this side, which is my right, your left, it's pretty much permanent. So this disability's taken me by storm, to be honest, guys. It's been very, very rough the past several weeks. But I think you should say how you're doing overall, though, considering you haven't really been talking that much.
But you've been talking.
Yeah, I know.
I'm doing good overall. Just tired today. That's all. So getting ready for the Sabbath. I always cook food ahead of time, and so I don't have to do much on Sunday. But yeah, we're going to
a GS 1380. Sorry.
We're just gonna go get our prescriptions and some ice, and yeah.
So about the only thing that gives me relief, weirdly kind of enough, is actually taking ice baths. Like, even really just putting like ice packs on my neck, because it's not just one section of my neck that hurts, it's quite literally pretty much the whole thing. But I also have like spasms randomly in my back, randomly in my foot sometimes. So again, like, just because it's we think that it's cervical dystonia doesn't mean that other parts of my body aren't going to spasm. So just take that in mind when you guys are kind of like trying to understand what it's like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at, guys. As far as, you know, just doing the intro. We hope to bring you guys content that you want to watch. I understand that some of our videos are a little bit longer. Part of that is because, well, sometimes they don't know when to call it quits. And like a byproduct, right, of being introverted, but like being an extremely creative person and having a creative mind. When you are around certain people, you have a tendency to talk a lot more, which I'm learning how to be slow to speak and quick to listen. That's been part of my life story for quite some time now. Well, what are you doing, dude? Go ahead. I thought it was... never mind. Driving around here are very weird. Yeah, we won't get into that right now. So part of the reason... I'll say this, and then I'll kind of let Lydia take the floor if she wants to. The reason why you haven't seen too many motorcycle videos here recently, mainly is because of the fact that my spasms, as I said, if they're bad enough for me to second guess myself, then I'm not going to ride. That was a rule that we put in place very early in this journey. So if it's like like minimal, like today, which, oh my gosh, what the heck is going on up here? This is ridiculous. People are just blocking the streets. Like, it don't make no sense.
You're good at it. Yeah.
I don't need to go that way anyways. But
Okay.
oh, that's why. A little bit of a fender bender here.
Like a T-bone, like a...
Yeah, the one person's getting ahead of themselves. Welcome to Clarksville, guys. But anyways, that's why you haven't seen a lot of motorcycle stuff, is because like Lydia and I have put that in place to where if it's a day to where I'm like, this is pretty much normal at this point, but like if it gets worse than this, I basically have to tell myself, no, I can't do that. So the hand is like, as long as I can move it, it's fine. There are times that it's very hard to move my fingers, but as long as I can move my hand and have mostly control over my hand, I'm fine. But it has gotten slightly worse. But with all that said, like, that's why if you're wondering kind of why I haven't been doing as many rides and giving that type of content. And again, like, also remember too, that's not really the main part of our content. That's just something that I kind of like to do. So because it's adventures with Brent and Lydia, like I try to have Lydia involved as much as we can.
Yeah.
When it comes to motorcycles, like it's difficult, you know. Like I'm just gonna say it. Like if I take a trip by myself, I have to make sure everything is in order. Because again, like if Lydia's in a situation to where like her life could be potentially in jeopardy, I'm not gonna intentionally do that. If she wouldn't do that. Well, yeah, and vice versa. So hang tight. You know, it's finally starting to get a little cooler here in Tennessee. The last several days it's been like literally 100 degrees here.
That's why we try to stay inside.
Yeah, that's why we haven't been, you know, yes, we're having content and some of it's really long, but that's because I want you guys to see like the uncut version of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the reason. It's been pretty difficult, like I said, the past couple of weeks, and you know, half the time we keep going to people's houses after church, and like it makes no sense for me to ride to church and then have to ride my bike over to the same location that Lydia's gonna go. It's just easier for us to both hop in the car like that.
Yeah.
So I just felt like I needed to explain myself on the motorcycle riding. If you're coming to this channel for that, I highly recommend you to kind of understand that it's not just about motorcycles or just about ghost stuff or the paranormal. It's really about our lives on a day-to-day. And that's kind of where I'm standing at it. So,
yeah.
That being said, Lydia, over to you.
I really don't have much to say. We're just gonna go mosey about, not do much today. Like I said, I'm gonna get food ready for tomorrow, so I don't have to do much cooking, which is nice. So, yeah, I get ready for the Sabbath. It's very big for me to have a day of rest.
Yeah. Neither one of us, even with our conditions, understand how to rest. Like it's almost like people have to force us to do that. I'm learning, obviously, how to better do that. But with that said, I'm not going to make this too much longer, this little intro and this little update, just because, like, if, again, like, we're going to try to do this on Monday, as far as, like, doing this abandoned location. More than likely, you won't be able to see the inside of it because, as far as I know, they've shut this place down, even for tours. It was damaged that bad the last couple of tornadoes that we've had. So we will definitely show you the outside of the building and kind of give you the backstory if you're not from Tennessee as to like why this location is important, like historically wise.
Yeah.
But again, like, don't have too many high hopes of us being able to get inside the building.
Yeah.
So with all that said, we will probably see you in the next segment, which normally we do something real quick on Sundays just to let you know, hey, it's Sunday, it's Lord's Day. But again, like, understand that our channel is basically kind of a week-long process. It's not just one singular event. Yep. So that's why our videos tend to be a little bit longer, guys, is because we're trying to give you a full entire week of content, which is why we only upload once a week. Now, if it's something special, obviously that's a little different.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, that's kind of how we're starting in this. And again, like, we're still learning. Like, we know that analytics wise, like, you have to do certain things to get more views, and well, I'm kind of a dummy when it comes to a lot of this stuff.
Not a dummy, you're learning this.
Well, I feel like a dummy sometimes because, like, you know, I'll say this. I'm 36, and Lydia's 2 years older than me. I'm not going to say that because it's rude.
I'm 38, it's no biggie.
Yep.
I don't care.
Anyways, so we're kind of in the older generation of the millennials. So when it comes to a lot of computer tech, you know, it's really funny. Like, when we talk to people that are a little bit older than us, they're like, "Oh, you guys should know this. You know, you grew up." Listen, listen.
We still had dial-up internet.
We still had dial internet when we were growing up, okay? Like, I remember Windows 95. I remember Windows XP. Yeah. I remember Windows ME. Yeah, I said it. But, again, like, I don't know how a lot of this stuff works. We're just kind of trying to create content and see how it goes. It's mainly, again, about the chronic illness. Like, that's the main part of the channel. Nice. Very nice. There's a Harley Heritage right next to us. See? I didn't hate on the Harley, okay? So you guys thinking that I hate on Harleys, I don't. Just because I have a Moto Guzzi that has, she's extremely temperamental. That's kind of the mystique about that particular motorcycle. But with that being said, we're about to our first stop here. We probably won't record too much because we're only going to like 3 places or so. And like, I guarantee you guys aren't going to be very interested in going to Walmart or anything like that. So with that being said, we'll catch up with you guys probably tomorrow. And if we don't do anything tomorrow, we'll definitely see you on Monday. Hey, good morning, all. It is Pancake Sunday, also known as the Lord's Day. Probably not going to say much today. I was going to ride my bike until I realized that by the time we were out of work, it's going to rain.
Out of church, not work.
Or yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm really out of it this morning, guys. Like, really out of it. When church gets out is what I was trying to say. It's supposed to rain, and the rain around here is very unpredictable. To the point where it could be a monsoon or it could be just light drizzle. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't feel like getting extremely wet, at least not today. And potentially like being in like a thunderstorm or something. Not to say that I haven't done it before, it's just not comfortable. You'll notice my voice is pretty raspy this morning. That's just kind of part of this. Obviously, I don't know how well you guys can see my face in this position or not, but I guess I could turn a light on. That might help. Yeah, never mind. Anyways, yeah. So one thing that I didn't tell you about something happened that yesterday. It was just the spur of the moment thing. So you don't know those like toy vending machines that like when you coming in and out of the grocery store that you can spend like, it used to be like 25 cents, now it's like 75 cents, which is crazy to me. But y'all know how you get those little like toys and kids like, you know, like start playing with them. Well, I was like, you know what, Lydia, do you have three quarters? And she had no idea why I was asking. So I went over there and did one of the, you know, the mystery surprise. And come to find out, it was like literally a micro gnome. Like it was a gnome, but like micro size. And so Lydia's been playing with it, and she played a trick on me this morning. So as soon as I woke up, it was like sitting on my nightstand. I was completely confused as to how it got there. So like late at night, when I end up like falling asleep in the chair or go out to the deck, generally speaking, I don't turn the lights on. Just because like it bothers me, so I assume that it bothers Lydia, but half the time she's like totally okay with it. But yeah, so apparently before I went in there, she took her little micro gnome and put it on my nightstand, and I woke up to a little gnome staring at me, and I'm like, that's really weird. I don't know if y'all can see her face, but she's pretty proud about it. Pretty proud about how she just spooked me, but so I don't know like when this video necessarily, I mean obviously we know it's going to upload on Saturday, but I don't know like where you guys are kind of following our stories or not. We're going to try a few things. Hopefully it's to y'all's benefit of knowing how this stuff kind of works as far as the paranormal stuff is concerned. And I'm not, disclaimer, I am not singling any one person out, okay? But with that being said, stay tuned for what we're going to try. That'll probably come out before this video, so we'll see. But alright guys, I'm not going to say too much this morning. Lydia's not really saying much.
Because you're talking. So,
Yeah.
Good morning.
Got anything else to say?
Happy Lord's Day. And if you can, go fellowship with the saints.
Okay. Alright, we'll see you guys later. What is up, guys? It is Monday morning. Happy, what is it, Labor Day?
Yes, end of summer.
So we're doing something fun today. We're headed to Nashville. But the only thing that Lydia knows today, so we had to discuss like where we, like what was safe and what wasn't. We were gonna go to the old Tennessee, help me out here.
State prison?
Yeah, we were gonna try to do that after doing some research. Neither one of us felt comfortable, especially with our conditions, to go into a place like that. We watched a video, and basically, like, there is state troopers all over the property. So I had to drop back and punt, and so Lydia went to bed last night, and I was like, so where do I want to take her? So I know where we're going, but she has no idea. The only thing that she knows, we're headed there right now for breakfast. One of our favorite breakfast slash brunch spots called the Frothy Monkey. If you guys have never checked it out, please do. The food is great. It's a really, really popular place, so expect to wait a little bit.
Yeah.
The first time that we went to the location in Nashville,
in a quarter mile, turn left onto Cumberland Heights Road.
I think we had to wait like almost an hour.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah.
Second time it wasn't as bad because like it depends on the day and the time frame.
It's Labor Day, so it may be busy.
Right. So like because today is a federal holiday, you know, there's probably gonna be a lot of
Take the
people
next
there,
left onto Cumberland Heights Road.
that's the tentative plan right now, to go to the Frothy Monkey. But after that, I am taking Lydia to a mysterious location that she has no idea. I've only given her 2 clues so far as to where we might even be going. You remember what the clues were?
Something about a car and...
Continue on Cumberland Heights Road for
I've
2
always wanted to
miles.
go there, but that's...
So, there was 2 things that I said. I said she's always wanted it. And she was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then I said, it's some, so I'll give you another one here. So, she still is pretty much clueless. She thinks that it might be something car related, but she doesn't know. So she said DeSoto as to like a response to one of the questions. I said, well, no, but you're getting closer. And so here's the last clue that I'm going to give her for now. Before we, whoa, hello cat. Black cat just crossed her path, so good thing I'm not superstitious.
Yeah.
So here's the last clue for now that I'm going to give her. Okay. You guys ready? Cool. Are you ready?
Yes.
It's your size.
A micro car museum?
Yes.
What
So-
the heck? There's a micro car museum. I didn't know such thing existed.
They actually have your favorite BMW micro car there, yeah. So, cat's out of the bag.
I was literally just guessing.
Cat's out of the bag. I am taking her to none other than it's a museum in Nashville. They happen to be open today, which is great. But it is a European car and motorcycle museum, basically. And one of Lydia's favorite cars, believe it or not, guys, is micro cars. She thinks they're hysterical. She's loved them ever since I've shown her some pictures of it. But this will be the first time ever that she actually sees one in person. Because they actually have your favorite BMW there.
I was thinking of starting with a one piece at a time car. Or
That's
something.
that's in private collection now.
Yeah. I was
That's way over in Eastern Tennessee.
I
We're not
wasn't
traveling that far today. But they have some really interesting stuff in this museum. believe it or not, I think most of the collection actually comes from like, I think it started with one person, but they have over 500 cars there, and like close to 100 motorcycles and like bicycles and airplanes. So, yeah.
I just guessed. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good. So yeah, we're gonna do that today instead of trying to get ourselves in trouble and
In a
potentially
quarter
arrested.
mile, turn right onto Zinc Plant Road.
We're gonna go to a place that both of us are going to really enjoy. I've been wanting to go to this place ever since I found out about it. It's not a really known place to most people, I don't think. You don't really hear too much about it. I stumbled across it by accident.
Take the next right onto Zinc Plant Road.
Several months ago, and we were gonna go to a special event, and it kind of fell through. I think it was like a motorcycle event that I was wanting to go to. But what's really, really cool about this place is they actually have a vault, which is like their
Continue
basement.
on Zinc Plant Road for 1 mile.
And pretty much every Saturday, they actually open up the vault. So you can pay an extra $10 on your ticket to actually go down there and see like the behind the scenes stuff that they're doing. So I don't know if they do restorations or not. I'm sure they have to like keep stuff going. I think they said roughly about 90% of the stuff runs. There's only a select few that don't, at least if it has an engine anyway, because not everything has an engine there. But they have some really, really like off the wall cars, like I've never seen in person and I didn't even know existed. They have some micro cars, so it's going to be a little bit of what Lydia likes. She's going to be super, super excited, guys, so you're going to have to like bear with us. The last time we did this, of course we weren't doing YouTube at the time, but we went down to the Barber Museum several months ago now, and she was so excited that I had to calm her down, and eventually we just had to get a wheelchair after a while. But that's not like an issue. So like one thing you got to remember about my condition and hers is that if we get too excited, if you know, there's like too many people in a given area, like all of those are a factor for us.
At the light, use the right lane to turn left onto Cumberland Drive.
But anyways, surprise! And they actually do have that BMW there, the one that opens up in the front. They also have a rotary bike. So like it's like a 1 or 2 year only. I can't remember what, I think it was Kawasaki, I want to say. Might have been Yamaha. But this was back in the time frame to where people were just experimenting. That's what I love about the 60s and 70s, about, you know, about the automotive industry and just transportation industry in general.
In half a mile, turn right onto Ashland City Road.
They were constantly doing just like off the wall stuff. They can't get away with it today, obviously, because not just the United States EPA, but here's a fun fact that some of you guys might not know when you're talking about the transportation industry. So every car and motorcycle that is produced now, the standard is actually not the US EPA. Now, do they enforce it?
Right onto Ashland City
Yes,
Road.
but America is actually quite lenient in comparison to anything that you're going to find in Europe, because the EU is actually responsible for setting that
Continue
standard.
for 9 miles.
Are we taking the back roads or are we taking the...
I was just going to take the interstate.
Okay.
At any rate, so they have a rotary engine. I've never seen one in person. I don't remember seeing one at the Barber Museum when we went there. We did take several pictures, and we're going to do that today. I don't think they would have an issue for us recording at all or taking pictures. I'm sure almost everybody does that.
We'll ask just to make sure.
Yeah. So with that said, this is going to kind of be from, today's basically going to be from Lydia's perspective, not really mine. So she said, hey, I want to do something fun on Monday. You don't need to tell me where we're going. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to put our lives at risk here. Like I said, we were going to go to the old Tennessee State Penitentiary originally. I second-guessed myself last night because one of the videos that I watched was only about a month ago, and they made a statement that was not really comfortable to me, which was essentially they only let you get about 500 yards away from the actual building. So we had a tornado, a really, really bad tornado back in 2020.
Yeah.
It's all over the news, and it literally pretty much destroyed most of the buildings. And so it would be if we were even able to sneak in, okay, which that's not really what Lydia and I do.
No, we're not.
We don't really go on to like sneaking around and stuff like that, as you guys could probably understand. As far as like our health condition, it's just not an ideal situation whatsoever. So once I found out that not only can you, if they catch you going onto the property, not only will you get arrested for trespassing charges, but they'll actually take all of your cameras and all of your electronics, and you won't get it back.
Yeah.
So we've spent pretty penny on getting our setup as far as what we do. I mean, there might be some changes in the future. And also stay tuned. We're gonna try to start doing a segment at least once a week. The segment is basically either just me or Lydia or both of us.
Yeah.
Basically doing a reaction videos related to the paranormal. So this isn't like picking on one specific channel, guys. Okay, so don't think it's that.
It's explaining.
We're doing an explanation of what's actually going on versus what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then actually giving you some theological background to why I believe what they're doing is what they're doing.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's probably just going to be me, but
I will chime in as necessary.
It's one of those things to where I know it looks easy, but we quickly realized last night that there's a lot more moving parts than what I even understood. So,
but I think once we figure it out, it'll be pretty
it should be fairly simple because we can essentially do that with any video at this point. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be a new segment that we're going to launch this week. So you're going to have the regular stuff that we're doing throughout the week, which those always go up on Saturday.
Yeah. But you also,
in the afternoon.
Yeah, we haven't decided if we're going to put the reaction video as part of the Adventures of Brent, Lydia, or still have it like a same channel, but like as a separate video altogether. So, that's something we have to figure out logistically what would make most sense. So bear with us as we get logistics together.
Yeah, because we already have 2 channels. Technically we have more than that, but we're only active on 2 of them, which is our podcast. And the way that you get on YouTube Music is essentially you have to make a video. So you both can, and there is no visuals to that, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
like it's literally just us talking.
Yeah.
Because so as you guys know, Cleveland's been involved with all of this stuff pretty much since the beginning. He has a background on a lot of this stuff. So for me personally, he had told me early on, hey, you should keep that separate because it's a lot easier to just pull that up without not having to worry about video if you're driving or something like that. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's why we have Adventures of Brent and Lydia, and we have our podcast, which is Out of Darkness podcast.
Yeah, and part of the Adventures of Brent and Lydia, like I said, we may make the reaction videos as a completely separate video, but still on that same channel.
Yeah, it's going to be a completely separate video.
Yeah, that way it doesn't get lost in the shuffle of the entire week of Adventures of Brent and Lydia.
I see what she's trying to say. So let me translate because I think I get it now. So those videos will be separate. They're not going to be attached to what we're doing throughout the week.
Yeah, and eventually we may be able to create a playlist for them, but
and that's the idea. Like, we're gonna create a playlist for it. And again, like, we're not trying to step on anybody's toes. So if any of you guys that are paranormal investigators end up being featured, this isn't me like attacking you personally. This is me just making observations and what I know about the inside. As you guys know, I've been doing this stuff for 20 plus years now. So there's going to be little things that I notice that the general public isn't really going to know. And we've also discovered some stuff along the way. So, like, in almost 13 years of marriage, Lydia has been kind of conditioned to a degree to not one, she's not being comfortably numb towards it. Like, that's not the right way to say it, but she's used to these types of conversations at this point.
Yeah.
And for a long time, I didn't even want to talk about this stuff because it was extremely hard for me to come out of that movement, the paranormal, and also being a cultist, and it's a whole different conversation in itself. But anyways, so we're gonna basically just take you guys along today, and hopefully you guys will enjoy this, because like Lydia honestly still doesn't know exactly she knows what it is now. She knows that it's a transportation museum. Well, what she doesn't know is the name of it and exactly where it is. I told her it was in Nashville, which it is, but we're essentially going into the kind of the heart of the city to get breakfast. Well, it's kind of probably be brunch by the time we get there, but that's fine.
Yeah.
So with that said, we'll catch up with you guys here in a little bit. I think I've talked your ear off enough already. So yeah, we'll just take you guys along today, and we'll chime in when we feel like we need to chime in.
Yep.
But yeah, so essentially how we're gonna do this is again, I love putting Lydia in these types of scenarios to where she knows what it is, and now she's not. She was literally freaking out last night, because when I told her I was gonna take her to a location, she's like, okay. But then she kept waking up, and she's like, now my brain won't shut off. I don't want you to tell me, but simultaneously I want you to tell me. And I'm like, I mean, I can tell you, and you can act surprised. But now she knows at least where we're going, so she doesn't have to worry about that. And keep one thing into consideration here. Lydia and I, when we travel now, we have to make sure in advance we have everything that we need. So she was asking me a series of questions last night. This morning, she's like, do I need my extra battery for what she calls her iron lung, her oxygen machine? And I was like, yeah, it's probably be good. She's like, okay, well, what else? Are we doing a picnic? And I was like, that's strictly up to you. And so I kind of got her off the scent last night, because I was like, you know what, we might just go to the Parthenon. And I'm like, no, that's boring. It's a great place to take pictures at. And the museum is actually really interesting, but it's kind of one of those places to where I don't know if I can make it interesting.
Yeah, it's worth going to it once, but more than that, and we've done the touristy stuff in Nashville.
Yeah, so back in 2017, which is crazy that I'm even saying that.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That was the first time we ever came to Tennessee. Both of us, we came here completely blind, not knowing what to expect. And then Lydia was like, hey, I have a surprise for you. And I was like, what? She's like, well, we're going to go to the Country Music Hall of Fame. And I'm like, okay, cool. Now, disclaimer, okay, I've been rockabilly and blues ever since I can remember, but I do traditional country. So when I say traditional country, I'm talking about guys like Johnny Cash, Hank Williams Sr., you guys get the idea. But there's, me being a mandolin player, there's certain people in history that played mandolins that paved the way for a lot of stuff. And I was just awestruck of some of it. But she surprised me with a tour of the Studio B, which if any of you guys that are music nuts know that is the spot. But anyways, yeah, 2017, we felt like we were being called to move here. It took us about a year and a half or so. We went up there, I think, another time the next year, I want to say.
In 2019.
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah. So we've been kind of in learning about Tennessee ever since about 2017. We actually moved here in 2019, so we've been here for a couple of years now.
Actually this month we would have been here longer than we've been in Florida.
Yeah.
So it's official. We are now Tennesseans because we've been here longer than we've been in Florida. And I don't plan on moving out of the state of Tennessee, Lord willing.
Yeah. So with all that said, guys, so let me get back to my point before I started like drifting off somewhere here. I'm still pretty out of it, guys. Like, my voice is still, obviously you guys can hear it in my voice. It's really, really raspy. Today is not as bad, but again, it's still early in the morning as far as my symptoms are concerned. But anyways, to get back to the point, like, we have to be prepared to a certain extent to go on any trip, even if it's to Nashville, because, well, Lydia needs to have oxygen, and I have to have a basic understanding of where we're going.
In a quarter mile, use the right lane to take the I-24 East ramp to Nashville.
Sorry. I have to have a basic understanding of where we're going and what we're doing, because, like, again, like, sensory overload is a thing. And there's nothing that anybody can do to help if I start going into a full, like, blown spasm attack thing. So it's frustrating. It really is. Lydia gets frustrated with her situation as well. But that doesn't mean, like, this is Adventures of Brent and Lydia. So we can still take adventures. We just have to have it planned more than some people. So if it's a local trip, we don't really plan that much.
Like within Clarksville.
Yeah, within Clarksville. But if we say Nashville or the surrounding area, depending on how far it is, well, that changes things.
Yeah.
That's the reason why we started this channel, is to kind of explain that. So that's still
the right lane to take the I-24 East ramp.
That's still the main topic for us. But with all that said,
in a quarter mile, merge onto I-24 East.
I'm gonna stop talking for now, and we'll catch up with you guys here in a little bit, and kind of let you see even how where we're going. I mean, it's not that exciting, but hey, it's a little bit different. We're gonna try some different shots. So, see you guys in a bit. one of the best, like, brunch places, literally. We discovered it in Birmingham, Alabama, which is funny that we didn't even know that it existed here in Tennessee at the time.
Yeah.
But, so let me give you a little bit of context about the place that we're
Head
headed.
east toward Beechwood Avenue.
So, Lydia guessed it earlier, as you guys know. And, the place that we're headed to is called, I think it's like the Lane Automotive or something or other museum. I can't remember the exact name of it. But I'm just going to today basically call it the Lane Museum. Now, what's so interesting about this place is that originally it was actually a private collection. And the person who started collecting it, I don't think they knew exactly what it was going to turn into. But the Lane Museum, we'll try to possibly put some pictures of the inside of the facility and some information, if any of you guys are interested. I'm not even sure if I'm going the right way right now.
We'll figure it out. GPS will turn us around if needed.
So like I said, this was originally a private collection, and interestingly enough,
Take the next left onto Halcyon Avenue.
this person, the original, the collection, I'll just say
In
this,
1,000 feet, turn left onto 10th Avenue South.
it has some of the most eccentric vehicles in automotive and motorcycle history. Most of them are European. It's one of the largest European car collection in the United States, believe it or not. And if I never said this before, I run an Italian motorcycle, but I love European vehicles. They're just different.
Take the next left onto 10th Avenue South, then turn right onto Montrose Avenue.
And some of them have a really interesting history as well. Like, for example, sorry, I was waving a guy over here. But what makes it so interesting is that these are eclectic cars. So stuff like the amphibian cars. I didn't tell anybody any of this.
Montrose Avenue.
And I like weird cars.
She does. She likes weird cars, weird motorcycles. You know, the stuff that's just like, okay.
I like 1980s cars, and Brent thinks that's the craziest thing in the world. But
So they do have a couple of like really vintage race cars there.
Continue for half a mile.
We'll try to do our best to cover as much of it. So like we're probably gonna go like record it like it's not gonna be like a super long recording, only because there is so much to see in there. But this won't be the first time that we're gonna go there. This will be the first time that we go there, yes. But what I'm saying is it's not gonna be the last time that we're ever gonna go here. So don't get disappointed. You know, we'll be back at some point. And I'll try to follow like when they have motorcycle meetups and stuff. But yeah, so that's kind of the context of this this museum that we're going to. And what's kind of unique about the experience is that I know a little bit of some of these vehicles and what they were originally used for. You're gonna hear me probably comment the most on the motorcycles, just because like some of them are just like, okay. But now that you know that, are you excited to go to this place now?
I'm very excited. Let's go. I'm probably more excited once I see the cars.
So like, I don't know if you guys have ever been to the Barber Museum, but it takes several hours to get through the whole museum.
Yeah.
Like, no joke. They have 5 floors. 4 of them are completely filled with motorcycles and different vehicles. They have a very large collection at Barber, is what I'm referring to right now.
In 1,000 feet, turn left onto 8th Avenue South, Franklin Pike.
Of a company called Lotus, which, if you guys know anything about that, that is a full-blown, basically street legal race car. Essentially, that's kind of what it is. But they had some of the earliest editions. So I don't know if they have any Lotuses in the collection, but one thing that this place does that's very unique,
Take
that
the next
stands
left
out
onto 8th Avenue South, Franklin Pike,
from
then
any
turn
other
right onto
museum,
Craighead Street.
is well, unfortunately, we missed it by 30 minutes, but most days when you go, and again, they're closed Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I know that's a bit strange, but if you understood like what they did, oh crap, you would understand like how cool this is of what they do. So at 11 o'clock on the days that they're open, they do demonstrations, which means they actually fire the vehicles up, and they kind of show you like how, you know,
At
like
the light, turn right onto Craighead Street.
like mechanically these work, because some of them are just like, this thing is really weird. So they have some French cars there. They have some, I think they even have,
Continue on Craighead Street for 1.5 miles.
I want to say they have some, I know they have some Italian cars. They have a Fiat. Well, what's also interesting is that they actually sell some of their cars sometimes. So there's like 4 cars, I want to say, right now that are for sale. One of them being a Fiat 500 from 66 or 67. Granted, Lydia and I don't have $30,000 just laying around. So, you know, with that said, it's like they do have certain vehicles for sale. So it's a really unique experience knowing that, you know, you literally can go to a museum and get a museum quality vehicle, and some of them are literally for sale. I just think that's really unique as far as the experience is concerned. And then on Saturdays, this is what Lydia is probably going to be the most excited about when I tell her this, because she doesn't know any of this information, you guys. She's never been here. I've never been here. But I'm a motorcycle car nut. I just like kind of weird stuff.
I like cars that have identity crises, like El Caminos.
Trust me, this place will have several that don't know what they are.
Well, we're going to have lots of fun.
But, so, to get back to my point, on Saturdays, they have a thing that you can pay $10. I think it's $10 extra per ticket. It's very, very reasonable, guys. So, like, if you're on a budget and you're looking for something to do, this place is, like, super, super reasonable as far as prices are concerned.
Yeah.
Like, $20 or less a ticket, in all seriousness.
Yeah.
But on Saturdays, if you pay $10 more, I'm not sure what time this is. I don't know if it's just a certain time. I think it is a certain time frame. They'll actually let people go down into the vault, which means they have a whole entire floor of cars that aren't even on the floor. So they give you kind of like a private tour, if you will, of the private side of the collection, which is really, really cool.
In a quarter mile,
I've
turn right
never,
onto Nolensville Pike.
Me personally, I have never been to a car museum of any kind, or a motorcycle museum of any kind that actually shows you the private collection. But that's a thing here. So just to give you guys some context, that's kind of
At the light,
the
turn
idea
right
here.
onto Nolensville Pike.
This is odd. So yeah, we're already almost there, guys. We were literally only about 10 minutes away or so.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto Polk Avenue.
But with all that said, I'm gonna stop recording on this camera, and when we get there, we'll get out our other camera, and I'll get my my picture camera, because obviously we have multiple different cameras that we're using. Not that you guys needed to know that information. But at any rate, yeah, so this should be pretty fun.
Turn left onto Polk Avenue.
And so I'll keep the camera rolling, I guess, for another couple of minutes, because we're literally minutes away at this point.
Yeah.
Continue on Polk Avenue for 1 mile.
And you guys might be thinking, how did I find this? Well, I was looking for stuff to do with Lydia and I, because again, we have to be really selective. Perfect example. We love the Frothy Monkey. That's like literally one of our favorite breakfast places, but I was pretty much spasming the whole time we were in there. because it's extremely noisy in there. It's not a huge place. So if you even have 5 people in the same room, it gets really, really noisy. And that's not the... Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
It was a Galaxy 500, 1968, but it was a police vehicle. That was cool.
Galaxy 500. Sorry.
So yeah, one day I was looking for something to do, and like I had told Lydia that this museum was here, and they do like bike days, they do like cruise-ins for certain vehicles, you know. And I had every intention of going to this one because, you know, I thought it was neat, but plans fell through because I think Lydia was not having a good day or something. I said, all right, I won't do it. But nevertheless, I kind of found it by accident. But I still, like I said, I think that this place is going to be really fun. It's going to be really interesting.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Murfreesboro Pike.
Because, I'll be honest, most Americans, this is a general statement, don't know anything about European vehicles. Myself including. I don't. 90% of what this collection is, this is the first time I've ever seen one in person. That's just getting Lydia more excited.
At the light, turn right onto Murfreesboro Pike.
Because if I don't know something about it, she's going to figure it out. Like, she told me stuff about Moto Guzzi that I didn't even really know about when we went to the Barber Museum. So, you know, with all that said,
In
guys...
half a mile, turn left.
Half a mile, turn left. Must be on our left. 2 minutes out. It's a weird part of Nashville. We're only a couple, like, literally, like, maybe 4 or 5 miles away from where we were. This part of Nashville is interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what type of part of Nashville.
I have no idea, but it's slightly industrial. I don't know. Nashville's not that big of a city. So you kind of see business on top of business on top of business.
Yeah.
But it's like it's a business district, but I've just never been over this part of the city before. We don't go to Nashville that much, to be completely
Take the
honest.
next left, then turn right.
Ah. And we are actually here, guys. That's cool.
Ah, they have the Oscar.
The Wienermobile! They have the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile!
They do.
I've only seen that one time in my life outside of this.
Okay, handicap car.
Turn right, then your destination will be on the left.
I'm not sure where we're supposed to go in.
Your destination is on the left.
Where's handicap? Well, I guess we can just park here. That's probably fine.
Okay.
Looks like they're doing some construction. All right, guys and gals. We'll meet up back with you here in a bit.
a smart car. Here's something really funny. When he got a smart car, he left the house with a 15-passenger van and came back with a 2-seater smart car. Truth, no lie. That was when all of me and my siblings moved out of the house. No lie.
So this is pretty unique right here. I like it. It's like a bubble car. No, and Brent, you need to rest and sit. know about this. I love bicycles as well. And Bianchi is actually still in production today. It's they're a bicycle company. They've done a couple of like scooter, moped things in the past, but these bikes are actually quite rare to find as far as like the age of them anyway. Let's get a little fun. Yes!
That's my car. It's Lydia's size. It's Lydia's car.
I'm only 5'8". Okay. It's not even up to my chest.
It's shorter than me.
Go on.
Okay. Oh, it's great. Did you get good pictures? Did you get pictures?
Yes. Yes, no.
Don't you like how we have the photos signed with no maintenance? Because like, they literally just took an old... He took this was an old car dealership and they just turned it into a museum.
Yeah, the other side's about
Oh, it's an electric mini bike. Year of production, not would produce one. Oh, cool, look at this. Yeah. Hey, it makes sense to me. Makes sense to me to reuse recycled goods, doesn't it? Oh, my word. A wind wagon. That's a V12.
It's a motorcycle.
Yeah, it's a V12.
Yep.
Wait, I actually said so. I actually said engine rate?
Huh?
Oh, my word, this is a high five.
Yep. That's a motorcycle engine. This here is so 160 is 50. This one's
Yeah, that was it. So fast.
so water is like
You meet the worst people on Honda.
this is incredibly clean.
It's a Honda Gold. That's a nice one.
Look at Helix.
Yeah. No, I like Honda motorcycles.
Yeah, so this is a CD, I think.
Yeah, CB750 KO. You want to put this in the bottle?
Yeah, I want to. One. That's a cafe. Two. It's a cafe Honda Brent. And here is the motorcycle that you've been going over ever since.
The Honda Dream?
This is a 305 Honda Brent.
Nice.
And so, like, what makes this motorcycle unique to me is the front. So if y'all look at the front of this. I believe this is a 60. Oh, yeah, okay. It's a 65. I was going to say 66. Yeah, so this is the bike. Here's the front of the bike. If you flip it around, it's sort of short, but it's like it's almost perfect.
Yeah, it also doesn't help that it's extremely short.
This is a race bike. Like a 450 race bike.
Yeah.
So as you can see, they take off the front light. The brakes have been upgraded, obviously. But that's also a two-stroke. You want to know it's a two-stroke? Look at the exhaust. Here, you want to get closer to zoom in?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, that's a two-stroke race bike. Pretty much.
We came, we saw, we conquered.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Lydia, if you guys couldn't tell, she had to get a wheelchair. There's only one thing left to do. One thing.
What?
The Oscar Mayer Wiener truck is here. So, we are definitely going to go check this out because I have not seen this since I was a kid.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
You've never seen it?
No.
All right, so this is Lydia's first time. She's a first timer. All right, I'm gonna flip the camera. You all ready for this? You ready? You ready? Boom. That's right. The Wienermobile is here.
All right.
License plate.
Big bun.
Says Big Bun Joe.
You have to do it again on Tuesday. That's cute.
Check this out, guys. This is so cool.
Oh, they got us in the waist and stuff? Yeah. So, you kidding me? Starting in 1936.
This is awesome. Totally awesome. Back up a little bit so y'all see this. This is great. So what did you think about your first experience seeing the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile?
It's exciting. Oscar Mayer.
So how'd you like the museum, Lydia?
It was lots of fun. I'm just out of breath now.
It's way hotter today than what I was expecting.
Yeah. It's not, oh well, not too bad.
All right, guys. So there you have it. And this is in Nashville. Probably one of the coolest things actually in Nashville, if you want my honesty, because they have stuff that I've never seen before. Lydia's never seen most of it. And what was interesting is when we were at the Barber Museum, I don't remember seeing a 305 Dream there.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me flip the camera so you guys can see the outside of the building real quick. It is the Lane Motor Museum. Y'all check this out. The lady at the front desk was so sweet. Lydia was starting to have a really, really bad time as far as her lungs were concerned. And got her a wheelchair. But, as we said, we came, we saw, we conquered. All right. See y'all later. All right, guys, we're back in the car. We are headed home.
Turn
from
right into
Nashville.
Murfreesboro Pike.
So, we'll ask Lydia this
Continue on
question.
Murfreesboro Pike for half a mile.
If you're gonna ask me if I enjoyed it again, I'm gonna be like, yes, I already told you.
Well, what did you think about finally seeing that some of the cars that you have pretty much loved most of your life in real person?
They're so cool, micro cars. I love it. We took a lot of pictures. Well, Brent took a lot of pictures. I video recorded the entire thing, so it'll be lots of fun.
Oh gosh, no joke, guys. These freaking roads in Nashville are bad. Golly. Come on, Nashville.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto Fessler's Lane.
But anyways, yeah.
Lots
So
of fun. Thank you for taking me.
no worries. There is a lot of stuff in there, guys. Like a lot of stuff.
It took us like 2
At the
hours,
light,
maybe.
turn right onto Fessler's Lane.
Because it's just 1 o'clock. We got there
11:45. I think it was.
yeah, so a little over an hour, and we didn't like rush through it by any means.
No.
So
I mean, we were looking for specific
In
things.
a quarter
But we
mile,
saw
turn left onto
everything
the
in
I-40
about an
West
hour and a
ramp.
half. I would say maybe not an hour and a half, but like about an hour we saw everything.
Right.
So it's because it's just 1 floor. It's not like the Barber Museum where it was like 3.
Well, the Barber Museum is the largest collection nationwide of those type of bikes.
Yeah, but so
and understand that the Barber Museum is actually attached to the race course.
yeah.
So they have I would say they have a lot more money flowing through it than what this facility does.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to think that was at one point somebody's private collection.
Yeah.
Like that to me was kind of like an eye-opening experience, you know, like knowing that somebody literally owned almost all those cars at one point. Like one single person.
I just thought it was really cool. Like I said, we got a couple of t-shirts.
And pins, of course, because, you know,
Yeah, he like pins.
we kind of have a pin addiction.
Yeah, but we got matching t-shirts, which rarely ever happens with us. We're not those couples that does matchy stuff.
No.
In fact, that if we accidentally, because we have a plaid shirt that's similar.
It's not identical.
Not
by any
identical, but
means.
similar. But if we accidentally put it on at the same time, we will change. Yeah, that's just, yeah.
But anyways,
Turn left onto the I-40 West ramp.
Like I
Then
said, we're
merge onto
headed-
I-24 West.
we're headed back to Clarksville now. I just wanted to treat Lydia out, you know, have a little bit of fun. Only because, like, she feels a lot more isolated than I probably even understand some days. Not that she's telling you that. I just know that. So she works from home. She really doesn't leave the house very often. And again, like, as we explained earlier in the video, everything kind of has to be pre-planned. So, like, when Lydia started asking me, like last night and this morning, like, do I need this? Do I need this? Do I need this? The answer is yes. I'd rather be over-prepared than unprepared, you know, for any trip that we decide to take. But with all that said, this video is going to have a lot of editing if you guys didn't know that.
Yeah.
But we'll probably try to update you guys probably by Wednesday. Lydia's got another doctor's
In a quarter
appointment that she
mile,
has.
use the right 2 lanes to turn slightly right onto I-24 West. Signs for Clarksville, Louisville.
Which I'm hoping this doctor isn't going to be, well, I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah.
Let's just put it this way, he's not the greatest doctor.
Use the right 2 lanes to turn slightly right onto I-24 West.
But all
Signs
is
for
well.
Clarksville, Louisville.
So yeah, we hit up one of our, and I apologize, we didn't record any of the whole, you know, breakfast experience thing. We've been there 3-4 times now.
Yeah.
Pretty much anytime we're in Nashville and it's like around breakfast brunch time frame, we pretty much go there. Ever since we found out about it when we went down to Birmingham, Alabama.
To the Barber Museum.
To the Barber Museum. We took a ton of pictures, did a couple of videos that none of it's like on our channels really You can actually go, I think, onto our Instagram or Lydia's Instagram and find it.
Yeah.
And what's your Instagram, just so if people want to look at those pictures that we took from the Barber Museum?
I think it's the Ragamuffin Lydia.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
I don't even remember. I'm sorry, guys.
It's all good. But anyways, yeah, I took a lot of pictures. We'll probably try to put some of those on our store. It was recommended to me by a good friend and brother that I should probably like go back to Elkton, or Lydia and I both go back to Elkton and talk to, like, have some of the prints printed out and talk to some of the businesses out there to see if they'd be willing to like purchase it.
Yeah.
I think it'd be pretty neat if they did. But there's a lot of moving parts to that as well. Part of the reason why we use the site that we do is because they generate a watermark that is part of the subscription.
Yeah.
They generate a watermark for you. They copyright it for you. So most of that is not in our hands. That's the logistic part. So if you have the intention of selling any type of photography, it's just like art. Okay, unsigned art means that literally anybody can basically take it.
Yeah.
By signing your name or your initials on that piece of art, it's kind of like a watermark for a picture.
Yeah.
That's really, really important if you're selling your products. Oh crap, here we go. So yeah, if you're selling anything, like any of your prints or art for that matter, just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
That I would not feel comfortable if I didn't have a watermark and ask somebody to buy it.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why, like, we've had a couple of people kind of ask about our store. That's the reason why, guys, to be completely honest, is that this company takes care of that part of the business. Because photography, like I said, if you don't have a watermark on it, they can essentially claim it. Yeah. Because your watermark is your copyright.
Yeah.
So we're gonna work on that at some point. But the reason why I said Wednesday is mainly because of Lydia's doctor's appointment. We'll probably give you guys an update, and then because we have so much content on this particular video, we might not say very much the rest of the week. Kind of just depends. So anyways,
yeah.
What was your favorite part of the museum, Lydia?
I don't know. I just liked all of it. I think it was so cool.
I surprised her with this trip, to be honest. Like, she didn't know until we were joking about it earlier this morning. Yeah, she had no idea what I was scheming. She does this to me sometimes too, guys. Like, the whole trip to Birmingham, that was all her. Like, she was like, hey, let's take a weekend trip, like a day trip down to Birmingham. I'm like, for what? She's like, isn't that where the Barber Museum is? I was like, oh, so are we going? She's like, yeah, I already have a hotel booked. I'm like, oh, okay then. Highly encourage this, the Lane Motor Museum.
Yeah.
The staff is great. She was a little old lady.
And you can take pictures and video recording.
Yeah, they have no issues with that whatsoever.
Just don't touch the cars except for one.
There's one car that they have, and I think that's one of them that they're trying to sell, if I'm not mistaken.
It may be.
But yeah, so they have one car, and I can't pronounce the name of the company. It's a French company. Lydia, how do you say it?
Is it Renault or Citroen?
Citroen.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was like a 40-something.
Oh, okay.
50-something. Again, but the problem is, guys, like, if you're going to collect vehicles or any type of like European stuff, understand that you're not going to understand anything on it. Like, even if you're an expert on it, something is always going to throw you through a loop. So I'm learning this by having a Moto Guzzi. So, like, I'll say this little story, and then I'll
In 2 miles, use the left 2 lanes to take exit 88.
And if you go to Nashville,
west toward Clarksville.
Here's the thing. So there's one section, okay, of the interstates that requires you to go all the way from the right lane all the way over to the left lane, and you have about a half a mile to do so, roughly. And everyone's trying to get everywhere at the same time. So hello. That was crazy. So yeah, I'm in the process of trying to get over now, and well, well, people try to run you off the road here. But yeah, so as I was saying, Lydia didn't know anything about this trip. I planned the whole thing, even the breakfast thing. Again, the food's great there. But what I was saying about the lame motor museum is the staff is actually really great. It's essentially only one person that's running the front desk. And she was so sweet. She really was. She gave us a discount. I guess Lydia sweet talked her or something.
I didn't say
total joke. But with that being said, you know, if you have kids, for example, like if you're watching this, watching our channel,
use the left 2 lanes to take exit 88 for I-24
understand we try to find family friendly stuff too, because a lot of our friends have kids. A lot of our, like literally 80 to 90% of our friends have kids, and most of them are being homeschooled.
Use the left 2 lanes to take
So we
exit 88.
genuinely try to find kid-friendly stuff to go to sometimes, and just try to tell you guys about this. If I didn't already know that the Lane Motor Museum wasn't a thing, it would still be something I recommend. And it kind of depends on like what your take on vehicles are, and like what your favorite types of vehicles are. Almost every single one of the cars in that museum is European, with the exception of maybe 4 or 5. So a lot of stuff I've never seen before, and I literally mean that. I've been around cars and the rockabilly scene and all that since literally I was a kid. So take it from me when I say that, like legitimately. And then like there's certain things that I know about that I don't know that much. One of which was one of Lydia's favorite motorcycles of all time, and it was Mint, as you guys saw. It is originally it was I think they made production from about 1964, 65 up into I think it was 69. But it is a Honda. What they called it the Dream, and what it was a 305. But the history behind that bike is really awesome. They essentially designed that whole entire motorcycle around women, and they were trying to make a cheaper motorcycle, but with high quality stuff.
Yeah.
It is a kickstart only bike, but what makes a motorcycle hard to kick over is the compression. So what they did was they put a lower compression engine in it. Not exactly sure what the compression ratio was, but it was a lower compression. So it was easier to kick. And then the way that they designed the whole entire bike was actually part of their sales pitch back in the day. So Lydia kind of was joking. There's another YouTuber that we really like. Shout out to you, Shatry. I don't know if you watch our channel, but he says this type of stuff. He's a Honda fanatic, to be honest. He's got like 2 or 3 gold wings. But with this bike, their sales pitch back in the day was you meet the best people in Honda. And what they were trying to do is they were trying to separate themselves from biker gangs and like diamond gangs back in the day. And basically at the time, in the mid to late 60s, Harley Davidson really didn't have a great reputation as being a user-friendly motorcycle. So Honda basically kind of cornered the market with what they did at the time, because they made a bike that anybody can ride. So nothing is extremely difficult on that motorcycle. It's very easy to work on. Like I said, it being a 305, so it's basically a 300cc engine. It's going to be easy to manhandle, super light for the era. So it looks bulky in the front, but it's not. Like, it's kind of hard to explain. But as soon as I told Lydia about this motorcycle years ago, she fell in love with it. So she hasn't really seen anything up close like that was completely restored from the ground up. And I don't know if that was that particular bike was a survivor or if it was restored. The parts are actually becoming pretty hard to find for some of those bikes. There was one that I didn't see in there. It's probably down in the vault. They actually have, I think it was Kawasaki, if I'm not mistaken. They had what was called a rotary engine. And I was gonna give you guys a little bit of history lesson about the rotary engine, but we didn't see it, so it's probably down in the vault. But yeah, so as you guys can tell, it's a huge passion of mine. I kind of got away from American vehicles though, as far as like, I've been to so many car shows in my life, guys, that like, when you see a whole entire whole section of 150 cars of the same brand and the same car, it kind of gets old. Not to say that the cars aren't, you know, beautiful and have unique stories, but like, you can only go to so many shows and really be impressed with the car. There's a couple in my background that I've always been impressed with, but I like weirdos as far as cars are concerned. Like I love Alfa Romeos.
Yeah.
As you guys can tell, I love Volkswagens as well. And there's a couple of other brands in there too that I really like. I actually like Fiats too, which may come as a surprise. But again, I ride an Italian motorcycle, so that kind of makes sense to a degree. But anyways, you got any more to add, Lydia?
Nope, you said it all.
Sorry, I have a bad habit of doing that, I guess. But yeah, so we'll check back in around Wednesday. We'll tell you what is going on with Lydia's appointment this week. And then, per usual, we'll end this week with final thoughts, you know, the whole week, and then we'll move on to the next one. So, hope you guys have enjoyed this day. As far as like, you know, seeing the smiles on Lydia's face, and it's pretty hard to stay encouraged when you have disorders and, you know, diseases and health issues. I will say this, and then I'll let Lydia say something, and then we'll be done. How's that sound, everybody? Not that you guys are gonna tell me no. So the hardest part of this day, if you want my true honesty, was actually getting food. And I say that it's not, part of it's kind of embarrassing, okay? And let me kind of explain as to why it's embarrassing. So as you guys know, my hand's constantly doing this number, right? Like you guys have seen it. The problem is, okay, and I'm trying to not be embarrassed by this because I'm sure it actually looks funny. And one of the things that I appreciated about Lydia today is she didn't make any comments about that. And Cleveland and I are just joking when we go back and forth, you know, like we're just joking. But I do know that there's people that have made some comments about it. The reason, so the first reason is it's really hard to, when you have a shaky hand like I do, and it's like not getting any better, it's actually progressively getting worse, is when you go pick up food, your hand's shaking so stinking much that it either falls off the fork or you miss your mouth.
And that is his dominant hand. He's right-handed.
Yeah, I'm right-handed, so that's the hard part for me, is the fact that I'm right-handed. I can't use my left hand very well. I can use it, but trust me, like my aim would be worse with my left hand. And it's not an aim issue, it's literally because my head is spasming and my hand is spasming. They're not going the same direction. So I have a tendency to have food fall out of my mouth and basically keep taking food up with my fork, hoping that it would, you know, get stuck to it. Nobody was paying attention to that, but I know Lydia saw it, but bless her heart, she didn't say anything today about it, which actually was pretty encouraging for me. And then the other thing about going out in public is if a place is really loud and crowded, okay, and again, like this place is really, really good food, really, really great coffee, and we've been there several times, but the first 2 times we went there, we sat outside, so didn't really have an issue as far as like being outside, because it's actually quieter outside than it is in. So I was starting to spasm, and like Lydia was like, "Man, you look really uncomfortable right now." And I told her, "Yeah, I am." And it's nobody's fault. Like that's the problem. It's nobody's fault. it is what it is. I mean, I hate using that terminology, but I don't blame anybody. You know, it's not anybody's fault. It's just how my body and my brain work. But with that said,
Hopefully you can get an ice bath.
yeah, I'm gonna try that, guys. My voice is getting worse too, so I probably need to stop talking for a while. So yeah, that was my hardest moment, was just having breakfast with my wife. You know, just hanging out with her, and like the fact that she doesn't ever say anything when this stuff happens. I know she kind of chuckles sometimes, because there are times that it actually is funny. And normally she only laughs when I'm laughing.
Oh yeah.
But like today was not one of those days. I just was trying to focus so hard on like our conversation and not trying to focus on spasming. But when you do that, you end up spasming. So again, I don't blame anybody for what I'm going through, but it is difficult, like extremely difficult. So going in public places, and like I know that I promised Lydia to go to a wrestling match, and well, it's not just a match, it's I'm trying to get her tickets around to our anniversary, which is in November, and drive up to Louisville to actually go to a live OVW event. That's our favorite promotion, guys, like literally. It's not to say that I don't like WWE or AEW or any of the other promotions. I really like how unique OVW is, and I've been a fan of Al Snow since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I highly, highly respect him. And he's been one of my favorite characters ever since I was a kid. Like when he, you know, carried around a head and he would beat people up with a mannequin head. To me, there's something absolutely hysterical about that. And he sold it. Like, he made it believable that people were actually getting hurt by hitting them with a mannequin head. That's a very, very big talent within the wrestling industry to be able to sell something like that. Yeah, anyways. So today was kind of like a test to see like how much I can handle. It's been a while since we've done anything like this. So yeah, it was a challenge. So that's going to tell me how difficult that's going to be to do that. However, we can't just stay at home by ourselves all the time. You know, we still have a life. We still have a life to live.
Oh, yeah, we can.
And you know, like part of what we're trying to say here is, you know, all we're trying to do is show you like the planning that goes into even a day event like this. And again, we've only been out of the house for maybe 4 hours, 5 tops.
Yeah.
And an hour and a half of that essentially is driving each way. So it's not quite that long, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like driving is a part of that. I'm glad you did. So now that I've said my struggles for the day and I've been talking too much, Lydia, what do you think your struggle of the day was?
It was just getting out of breath. It was very hot in there.
It was. I don't know why that was.
And when it's hot and humid, my lungs don't like it. So
They essentially used to be a dealership.
but it's no biggie. Like I don't complain. Brent knows this. I ain't trying not to complain.
She was trying to push herself in a wheelchair, and I'm like, I'm literally standing right here, Lydia.
It is what it is. Like I said,
I will say that is now she's actually not afraid to ask.
yeah.
Before she was afraid to ask for a wheelchair, and like, you know, one of the electric buggies and stuff. But reality says she's got pretty severe arthritis in her hips, and she also has bursitis in her hips as well, which doesn't help either. That's where most of her pain is, right?
Yeah.
It's mostly your hips, right? So walking any sort of distance is a challenge sometimes.
But as you know, I'm trying to complain.
No, I'm not saying that you were complaining. I'm just
Yeah.
so introverted. I kind of coined this phrase. I don't know if it's a real phrase or if it's a real condition. Probably isn't. But I call it people phobia. And so, like, Lydia's kind of cracked some jokes when it comes to that. But I have a really hard time. I've always been socially awkward around crowds. That's always been a thing for me. Sorry, guys.
I'm an extrovert that works at home by themselves, and we used to make a joke that Brent is an introvert that works around a lot of people.
Yeah. Not to say that I don't enjoy being around people. It's just it comes to a point to where
it's only certain people.
Yeah,
like it's
true.
Your people. Like it's.
I don't always come off as the most friendly guy either. I already know.
It's basically people at our church because they're our people.
And even some of them, like, I'm not trying to be rude, but like when you're talking at me, I have a tendency to zone out, like if I feel like the conversation isn't going anywhere. So I'm sorry if there's anybody at the church that like has seen me do that. I apologize. That's just, it's a bit of a coping mechanism in a way. But yeah, in large crowds I don't do very well. I never have. So
he will stay by me in those situations.
yeah, she's not lying. I did do that. But with all that being said, you know, that was Lydia's struggle for the day. That was my struggle for the day.
Now I get to go home and finish reading the book of Genesis because I'm trying to finish. I'm trying to read the entire Bible from Genesis to Revelation in 24 days.
Wish her luck on that and pray for her.
I've done it before. I've read the entire Bible.
That still doesn't change the fact that pray for her.
But I've done it before, and I actually rather enjoyed it because you get to recognize names and you start to memorize scripture, and you're like, oh, I recognize that because you're going. Most of the time, I listen to it like audibly and speed it up 2 times and read it at the same time. I don't just.
My brain doesn't work like that.
I don't just listen to it, but I actually read along with it. Because I do listen to audiobooks, but I don't necessarily consider that reading. I more like consider that listening. Reading for me is actually reading the words too. I know some people have arguments about that, and there's nothing wrong with listening to audiobooks. I do enjoy that, but for me that's not reading. That's more like listening to a podcast. And so, but it's important for me not just to listen to the Bible, but to read it. So that's why I listen to it and read it at the same time, because it's important for me to memorize scripture. So when I go through hard times or I am anxious or worn out, I treasure those words in my heart that I can immediately recall them, and it brings me peace and joy.
Yeah, amen. That's all I can say about that. I wish I could do that most of the time, but I'll just say it this way, guys. When you start to have health issues and you start to have things happen in your life, and certain things happen and you really don't understand why or how those things happen, it's okay. It's alright. I had to hit the brakes pretty hard. That's why Lydia just reacted the way that she did. Yeah, with all that said, it just it makes things different and a little bit more difficult in some cases. I get really frustrated really quickly, especially when I don't fully understand something. So like one of the symptoms, and of course some people will be like, oh, well, that's just daydreaming. Well, not really. Let me explain this and then we'll be done with this little segment that we're on. Sometimes there's a serious disconnect between what I'm hearing and what I'm comprehending. Because of this neurological disorder, there's a lot of people that have that happen. It's not all the time, it's just every so often it happens. So like, yeah, it's, I don't know, guys.
Like after he has a really bad spasm attack, it doesn't happen so often anymore with the medication he's on. But
it's still happening almost daily.
But it's not as bad as what it used to be. He used to get really bad spasm attacks that would last like 45 minutes.
The longest one that
lasted 2 hours. And
actually it was longer than that.
And then his brain would be extremely foggy, and it would be different. He had to like
It's not a seizure, though.
No.
Like, I want you guys to understand, it's not a seizure.
But luckily with this medication that he's on now, he doesn't get those attacks as horrible. And he rarely has hour-long attacks. Yeah, he may spasm for a little bit, but he doesn't get the brain fog like he used to because it's not as bad. There is still brain fog there, but not nearly as bad. The medication is working, it's just not a cure-all.
Right.
You know, without it, he would be so much worse.
And as you guys can tell, like, my voice is getting pretty affected almost a little bit more every day. I originally didn't have this raspy up voice. I don't know why people keep constantly hitting their brakes. It's flipping ridiculous. Anyway, guys, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I think that should be it. So
Yeah. And then if we haven't told you, happy Labor Day to everybody. And understand that we love you guys, and you know, I know we have a baby channel at this point, but you know, anything that we can do to try to bring more awareness to chronic illness, you know, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to show you guys like a day-to-day kind of thing, or a week-by-week thing. But with all that said, my voice is actually starting to hurt pretty bad, and my vocal cords feel like they're spasming right now, which they probably are. We'll see you on Wednesday, guys.
Yep.
So see you then.
Bye.
Hey guys, it is Wednesday afternoon, and Lydia has an update on her health, along with, this video is obviously going to come out after the reaction video, but we also just put out, as of today, a reaction video related to the Warren Occultic Museum and Annabelle, the doll. So, but with that being said, we said that we would come back on and kind of give you guys a bit of an update related to health situation, because, well, believe it or not, Lydia actually has good news for once. This doctor is sketchy. That's why I kind of said that. But anyways, so what do you have to say to our friends and family out there?
Well, my diaphragm's still paralyzed, but I'm able to be off of oxygen at the house as long as I maintain it 91 or higher. If it dips, I obviously have to go on oxygen. So that's a good thing. I'm still going to sleep with it because I have to use my BiPAP machine, and I'm going to have to use the travel concentrator. Basically, probably for the rest of my life in some form or another, even if it's just for emergency purposes. So I have to just keep an eye on my oxygen. You know, sorry, I'm not feeling well. I think I'm catching a cold. But just to keep an eye on my oxygen levels, basically. And if it, like I said, dips under 91, I have to wear oxygen to bring it back up. So that is good news, that I'm able to not have it on 24/7. So Darth Vader will not be on 24/7. So. But Darth Bane will have to go with me everywhere, which is fine. I'm used to it. It's like a pair of glasses. People use glasses to aid them in seeing things. It's like a tool, and that's what the portable concentrator is for me. It's an aid to help me have a better life, and I actually do have a better life with it because I'm able to do more things with the oxygen. Versus without it, I would just be sitting at home doing nothing. I wouldn't be able to move. I would be completely out of breath all the time. But with the travel concentrator, I'm actually able to go on hikes. I'm able to go on walks. Albeit I can't do like a marathon or anything, but at least I'm able to be outside the house for several hours at a time and not worry about I'm going to collapse because I don't have enough oxygen. So I'm very grateful for what God's given me, and that is all.
All right, guys. Well, you heard it from the horse's mouth, as the old saying goes. Let me zoom back out here. There we go. You guys don't need to be that close to my face. So it's been a pretty interesting week. We started out, obviously, Saturday. I forget what we did already. I know that sounds bad, but Sorry guys, I kind of have to chew gum now for a couple of different reasons. I keep having my jaw, because of the spasms, kind of mess up. And I get dry mouth like really, really bad now. But it hasn't been a bad week necessarily. My symptoms are getting worse progressively. So it does kind of make it difficult for us to do trips. We have to kind of tell each other in advance. Even though that I didn't tell Lydia where we were going, I told her that we were going to Nashville. It's really all she needed to know. But as you guys know, she guessed it in like 5-10 minutes in the car because I basically gave it away to her. Extremely cool experience at the Lane Motor Museum. Encourage you guys to go. There's a lot of really interesting things there. They kind of have a little bit of everything to a certain extent, but they are weird cars, guys. Like things that I didn't even know existed, which is really neat. But so between Lydia's health update and as of this point, I'm not getting worse. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm not getting better. I am progressively getting worse. It seems like the last 2 months it's really gotten quite a bit worse in certain cases. So it's hard to go to certain places. It's hard to be around people for an extended amount of time. The worst thing, if I can recollect our conversation from Monday, is going to like smaller venues, and what I mean by that is like smaller restaurants. They have a tendency to be really, really loud if they're good food, which is totally fine. Like I'm not saying that I didn't like their food. I love their food. It's just in this condition, you have to understand that. You have to understand kind of what you're getting yourself into. So, as I said on Monday, one of the nice things about Lydia is she kind of understands my struggle at this point. Eating is frustrating sometimes because my hand is constantly kind of spasming. That has worse times and doesn't. So, like, let me go out a little bit. Sometimes it's literally like doing a T-Rex arm, like no joke. That's generally when I'm about to go to sleep or I'm asleep. Which I'm not going to record myself sleeping. That's just weird. But I feel like I have to say this every time though, in our vlog videos. And I think it's a good thing that I remind myself of this weekly and let you guys know to be encouraged this way. There's a lot of people that we know that don't fully understand like chronic illness. And to be honest, I didn't fully understand it until it happened to me. Lydia definitely didn't understand it until it happened to her. She's told me that multiple times. Is that right?
Well, I've always had a chronic illness. I've had celiac disease for 10 years, but it's a little different because the only treatment is diet. But yeah, pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
So, with that said, guys, it's really hard because that can feel isolating. For me, sometimes it feels demasculating because like there's things that I just really struggle with now. At times, my hands spasming so bad that it's hard for me to even do like small tasks, like button my shirt. Like Lydia, kind of funnily on Monday was like, "Hey, your shirt's unbuttoned," and then she continued to watch me for about a minute and 30 seconds, try to button one button on my shirt, and I got it, but she saw me getting frustrated with it. So it's things like that are hard. When you can't do the things that you used to do before. So yeah, with all that said, I mean, just understand that you need to be around like-minded people. There's only a select few people at this point, and it's nothing, no disrespect to anybody. This is not me like bashing anybody or anything like that, but there's only certain people at certain times that I can really kind of hang out with for an extended amount of time. Generally speaking, If it's like a one-on-one type situation, what I mean is like our family with another family, I usually don't really have a problem with it. But if it's like a big group, that becomes a challenge almost instantaneously. And the other thing is that like Lydia and I are part of a local church. So this is not the place that I'm going to ever try to preach to anybody specifically, but I want you to see my beliefs through my actions, if that makes sense. So I don't ever intend on preaching necessarily, maybe teaching a little bit here and there, but that's not really what this channel was. We built this channel on. We just want to show you what two believers who are struggling daily with different ailments and what it's like to live a week, kind of in our shoes. Because you guys obviously heard my voice has changed like several times already this week. It's not too bad today. Like I said, I just got done doing a reaction video. Of course, Lydia started laughing halfway through it because, well, I can get kind of intense on this stuff sometimes. But with all that said, as I remind you every week, try to find a support group. Try to find a local church if you need so. Try to find certain people that are going to try to empathize to a certain extent, but also encourage you. Like I have one brother that, no questions asked, he started just coming over and weed eating. That was something that I really enjoyed. Now it's a real struggle for a lot of reasons. Not to mention here in Tennessee, we're kind of in a drought right now, so most of our grass is dead, believe it or not. Not that you guys needed to know that, but I'm trying to give you a perspective on this. But with all that said, try to find a support group, try to find like-minded people, stay encouraged, my friends. That's the way that Lydia and I stay encouraged. We also read the Bible. We also talk theology. We do all these things for our growth and connecting ourselves to something that is outside of our understanding. I know I said that kind of generally, but that's just, take it how you want it, really. But with all that said, not sure what's going to happen the rest of the week. I don't think we have anything tentatively planned as of right now. But if we do, we'll take you along. I don't want this video to be too long this time. I appreciate everybody that's sitting there watching the whole thing. I know our last video was like 3 hours long, which I apologize for. It's just there wasn't a lot that I could take out of it because, well, again, like sometimes it's going to take 3 hours to tell the story. Other times it's going to take 30 minutes, I believe this reaction video is about an hour and 30 minutes or so. And I even fast forwarded through some of it because it was just downright nonsense that you guys don't really need to understand or know. Well, I'll just say it this way. When you repeat yourself so many times, I'm essentially just going to say, yep, this is what they said, and move on. But with all that said, guys, I hope you guys have a blessed week. And I hope that, if you are struggling out there, see this as an encouragement that you're not alone. There's a lot of people, some really close friends of ours, struggle with different chronic illnesses. There's a couple of brothers in our church that are very near and dear to my heart that pretty much struggle on a daily basis, and one of these brothers actually almost died last week. Again, so this isn't his first experience in the hospital having things happen. It was a nice sight to see him on church on Sunday, and interacting with people. Because again, like in these situations, it's not always easy. It's not always easy to show a brave face, and I don't fake it until I make it. Like, look, if you ask me how I'm feeling, I'm going to tell you. But don't expect it to be any different most of the time. But it is very, very good news that Lydia is getting better to a certain extent. Like right now, she's sitting without her oxygen, which is great. The doctor actually wasn't a jerk this time, which is nice. He was actually on time. First time he was like an hour late. The second time he like literally like ran through the door. But it's no disrespect to the doctor. It is what it is sometimes. Those of you that have to go to the hospital or go to the doctor's office all the time, you'll probably understand what I'm saying more than anybody else. But with that said, just keep fighting the good fight, guys. That's all I can say. And Lord willing, if you're in a bad situation or with health or anything like that, just trust in Christ. I can't tell you guys enough how much that statement means to Lydia and I at this point. But with all that said, we will catch you in the next video. See you later, guys.
Bye.